Welcome to my basement, everybody. Hello, Scott Jones.
Hello, Victor Lucas. See, that's me trying to do your voice back at you. Just it's like an audible mirror.
Come on. Yeah, we've been together for, 55 years now? You should be able to know how I sound.
This is a special episode today because it's...
Of Blossom.
It's episode 1.
Yeah.
Of season 2. Yeah, are we calling it season 2 now?
Okay, sure.
It's up to you.
Arbitrarily, in the middle of June, we've decided, or the end of June,
When do we usually start new seasons?
Never in June, but that's what makes us cool. We're different than everybody else.
Like the new TV seasons, the pilots air in September.
Or if you've got zombies, you have to start in Halloween.
Right. And then they go through like March.
It's like April's But that's okay. We'll start season 2 in June. Fuck it. We're different than everyone.
That's right. Fuck it. I hope you enjoyed episode 50, part A and part B.
Yeah.
We had our good friends Neil Druckmann.
Yes.
And Bruce...
Seeley? I forget his last name.
Oh, we're awful.
He's going to hate us.
We're two assholes.
We know him as
Bruce
Neil
Straley.
And Bruce. Yeah, okay. There you go. Well,
yeah.
We know them as Neil and Bruce. And
Neil
I'm sure
and
they
Bruce.
don't know our last names.
The Bearded Wonders.
Right.
Over at Naughty Dog. And then we
holy
also
shit,
offer...
Are they wonders and wonderful people? And they created the eighth wonder of the world with that video game.
So nice of them. I got a tweet from a guy today that said, hey, you guys were wrong with your score on The Last of Us. Yeah. It wasn't 10 out of 10. It was an 11.
Such a meaningful game. Like, it really has made a difference in the industry, and we called it last year when we came away from the demos at E3 2012. We knew how awesome it was going to be, but
we didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I knew it because I went to the demo. I
reserved judgment.
I went to the same demo twice and got some hands-on time and could feel that this was totally unique and a precious achievement for this business. And I think that's what's resonating right now is people are just discovering it and they're talking about it. And it's amazing to read tweets about The Last of Us.
What is resonating is how starved for entertainment gamers are.
Well, I don't think it's just that
out there
for them
to enjoy.
I don't know about that.
What else? Deadpool? What are they going to play?
Well, we're playing Deadpool. We're playing the Wario in game. We're playing Luigi U. I'll tell you what I've been digging, and I can't keep my paws off of
Kingdom Rush Frontiers.
That for the iOS for sure. But I just discovered Gunpoint, right? Everybody's talking about this thing. I downloaded it on Steam. It's $10. It's made by an ex-PC gamer writer. He got this game-making software and basically in his free time built this thing over 3 years and released it. And the pre-orders were enough to let him quit his job as a journalist, and now he's a game maker full-time. And it's a really smart, savvy game. It doesn't really feature any mechanics or systems that we haven't seen implemented in games before, but it just does it in a smart way. It's that sort of retro pixel kind of graphic thing. I know that this is going to come to Mac, and I know it's going to come to iOS eventually. But right now you can only play it on the PC. But holy crap, it's fun, and it really has hit home how many little indie gems there are out there. And one of them, we just played on Ouya. We're going to be reviewing that pretty soon. It's Towerfall.
Well, you're calling it an indie gem already.
Well, I mean, it is.
You're tipping your hand.
Well, a lot of people are saying that. It's not just me saying that right here. I mean, the buzz around it is
I don't agree with a lot of people.
I know you don't. But it's really interesting how a lot of these smaller budgeted games can suck so much of your time. Kingdom Rush Frontiers is a perfect example, This isn't the biggest studio in the world, but here's a game that we just can't put down.
But I think that when I'm saying gamers are starved, we're starved for these AAA, big budget. This is a 15 to 17 hour single player experience. Plus, there's multiplayer. Have you played a lot of multiplayer? I haven't played much multiplayer.
No, because we've had to move on to the other. And
I have no desire to play multiplayer in The Last of Us.
I do. I mean, I want to play that game again. I want to go through.
I would play it a second time in the single player before I played multiplayer.
I want to soak into that game big time again, the whole thing. But
when are you going to do that? You got a family. You're running a company here. You got two shows.
The thing is we're reviewing a lot of stuff, and we have to move on. That's woe is me, but we have to move on to the other stuff that we're reviewing. But that is, I think you're right. I think that we need a reaction from the games industry to have a post-Last of Us discussion about the software that they're bringing now. And Deadpool is I mean, it's almost ironic that that's the next game in my PlayStation 3, that I'm playing. It's really I popped out Last of Us and threw Deadpool in.
It's more emblematic of where we are, because you can tell that they didn't give High Moon a lot of money.
Yeah.
They didn't have a lot of dough to make this thing. And, however you feel about the character of Deadpool, it's not the best video game ever made. And I mean, especially in a year when we've had so many good beat 'em ups already. I mean, like DMC Devil May Cry. I still go back to that.
I know this has been that year, isn't it? I mean, that and Metal Gear Rising.
Revengeance. I mean, those are games that are tight. And
Bayonetta's coming out this year, or is it early next year?
I don't know.
I think it's early next year.
Can't be soon enough.
It's
as far
the
as
hack
I'm
and slash
concerned.
year, though, man. It's really crazy that that's where the business is going. But I think The Last of Us needs to be an inspiration to people that are working and crafting big AAA now. I mean, they need to care.
I think it is. I mean, in the same way that BioShock resonated for years after 2007, continues to resonate.
Right.
I mean, I think this is a game that game makers everywhere are going to emulate for a long time. They're going to borrow from liberally.
Right. Well, certainly we saw that with Uncharted. That has influence all over the damn place. And we saw that with Batman Arkham Asylum. But I think what The Last of Us... Jesus, and we're going to be spending another podcast talking about The Last of Us, but that's how good the game is.
We're going to move on in a second.
All right, but I think what The Last of Us really teaches developers and players is that it doesn't need to be balls out, let's shoot all the time, let's blast away. There's really, significant moments of silence and stillness in this game that are very powerful, and we need a little more of that in these AAAs, man.
Well, remember when we were playing BioShock Infinite, all we wanted to talk about and all we wanted to really go back to was Dishonored.
Exactly.
Because BioShock Infinite was a game, it
was too noisy.
We were running through it at top speed, just shooting the shit out of everyone and everything. But you go back to Dishonored, you go back to those quiet moments. And those are the best moments for me in video games. Those are the best moments I've had in the last 5 years, when you're just quiet and still and observing the world around you. And that's exactly what you're doing in The Last of Us.
Well, and you know what? To its credit, Gunpoint has maybe a 1/1000th of the budget, but it has elements of that as well. It's got a stillness and a patience. It's a stealthy... action type game. It's 2D. It's very simple, but it's also literate, and you're thinking as well as doing some Twitch type stuff, And I think we need that in games a little more. We need to stop and savor and slow down and really engage all of the senses as best we can. I can't wait for Oculus Rift or some kind of VR thing to factor into this equation.
You're never going to put the Oculus Rift on. You're too delicate about your hair.
Yeah, if it fucks up my hair, I'm not going to be
doing it. It's going to fuck up your hair.
It will be a post-day thing after I've shot, taken my makeup off. Listen to me, I sound like such a Metro dude.
You sound like Norma Desmond.
But I'm looking forward to being totally enveloped in something like that, but not just to go around and shoot everything. I want to feel like I'm exploring a world of meaning,
Exploring a world of meaning. We should make a video game called Exploring a World of Meaning.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's work on that. And listen, it is the beginning of season 2. One new feature I'd like to introduce on the show is, and you've already started it. Is we'll talk about what we're reviewing this week. Deadpool, we went over already. Towerfall for the Ouya, that's $15.
Yeah.
These are all reviews that are going to appear on the show on EP Daily and on Reviews on the Run soon. Game and Wario, the new game for the Wii U.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed a lot. I don't want to give away too much of it.
Hey, what are you thinking of Ouya now? I mean, we've reviewed it. It's going to be on the show. You're probably watching or have watched that review already.
Are you asking listeners what they think of it? Or
what do you think? I mean, you've had a little more time. I mean, this is the thing, right? Like what we looked at, which we shot a couple of weeks ago, it's not exactly the same anymore. There's more stuff now. What do you think?
I don't think there's enough stuff. I don't think we've reached a saturation point or a tipping point with the Ouya to merit even the $100 entry point. I just worry that it's just more shit, that it's more stuff in my house that I don't need. I don't know why I need it at this point. I need someone to make a case. I need to see something that I can do on it that I can't do anywhere else, that I enjoy more than I enjoy doing it elsewhere. I haven't found that yet. What's your case?
Well,
Go ahead. I'm very skeptical.
It hit me yesterday.
Go ahead.
Because everything's available to try for free. All right, so there is a lot of garbage on there that you're not going to want to pay for.
Okay.
And the ones that you will want to pay for are few and far between.
Okay.
But this trial taste thing lets you jump into game mechanics after game mechanics after game mechanics and genre after genre. It's not unlike the same experience that we're jumping into with the Wario and Game thing. And then when I thought about Nintendo Land, that's a $60 game. That's like more than half the price of this whole console. And it has, a collection of little mini games, and some are really well done and some aren't. And they don't want to call them mini games, but pretty much for all intents and purposes they are. The Ouya is kind of like that. It's kind of like, here's your mini game console, and sooner or later someone's going to come and develop something that's going to be a little more robust than a lot of the stuff that's available to it. When I put it in that framework, and it is $100 is nothing to sneeze at, but I think you actually get quite a bit of stuff for that $100.
I think $100 is nice if you are going to use it. If it's something that is actually going to get some play time in your home. I have so many things pulling at my attention, and I think a lot of consumers out there are the same way. Yeah. Like I like my Netflix. I have my consoles already. I got my Vita, which has like a half inch of dust on it. I have so many things that are already asking.
We are crowded by stuff.
I know we are, and I know that we're kind of the exception. We lead charmed lives. But I think a lot of even if you're poor, I think for the most part, people have a lot of stuff pulling on their attention.
Dude, if you have a smartphone, you've got a lot of stuff pulling at your attention. And here's the thing, right? We haven't really spent a lot of time talking about what Apple announced with iOS 7, but they're already sending out diagrams of what potential controllers will look like for iPhone and potentially Apple TV, if they unlock Apple TV as a separate little console and you have a controller hooked up to it.
Yeah.
That is crazy. I mean, that's the Ouya killer right there. That's going to be...
I don't think it would take too much to kill the Ouya. I think that's a console killer outright.
It's also a console threat for sure. I mean, it's going to be the same types of experiences that we're seeing on Ouya right now for the most part, but iOS is becoming such a pull for developers. I mean, look at XCOM Enemy Unknown is on there right now, the almost identical experience, and KOTOR's on there, and more stuff's coming on there. Imagine if we're able to play that stuff affordably on a device connected to the television set, whether it's our iPads or whatever, and we have decent controllers, and they've opened the protocol. So people at every Mad Catz and Logitech, anybody that is in the controller business is going to be developing controllers for iOS 7 this year. We're going to get some incredible stuff.
Let me tell you something, my friend. I don't want to play on the TV anymore. So I did something weird. I'm actually in the middle of a move right now. I don't want to go into it, but I disconnected my Wii U and I had to reconnect it so I could play a couple of games this week.
Yeah.
So what I did is I reconnected it in my little office area.
Yeah.
And I set up the Wii U touchpad on my desk.
And you just played it off of there?
And I play everything off of there, and so I just leave it on all the time.
Nintendo was onto something, weren't they?
And this is the first time that I've really kind of, I didn't want to go. For some reason, it feels like such a commitment to sit in front of my TV.
I know what you're saying.
But just to have that on my desk and to beep through a couple of levels of new Super Luigi U or whatever the thing is called, that is pleasurable for me. And so being able to take these things and put them on the TV screen, I'm discounting a little bit. I don't want to do it as much as I used to. It feels like I'm giving too much of my life and of myself away by doing that.
When you play a game like Last of Us, you want that every time, right? But you want that every time, and you don't get that every time. You want that commitment from the game as well, right? If you're going to give that game 15 or more hours, you want the game to stack up to that amount of commitment as well. You want that relationship to be fruitful.
Yes.
And when you play a game that raises the bar as efficiently and effectively as that title just did, everything else, it's changed. Our business is different. Our business, there is a pre-Last of Us era, and now there's a post-Last of Us era. And if the console developer wants to keep us entertained, I mean, think about it. People are going to be able to walk around with a portable Bluetooth controller and their iPad that they can sit up on a stand and get that console-like experience in any room, in any place they ever want to, And it is going to really, if we're going to want to get lost in these massive titles on the TV set, on these consoles that are going to cost us more money, and the games themselves are going to cost us more money, they've got to be reaching farther. They've really got to hit some high marks, And if Naughty Dog can do it, and Arcane can do it, and if Ken Levine and his team can do it, Irrational, other studios have got to do it as well. We've really got to get more exciting, more elaborate, more intensive, more mature, more satisfying console games, and I really hope that that's what's going to be ushered into with this next generation.
To make those things requires dough.
Well, it requires dough, but it also requires commitment. It requires that the people that are building them, and I've really been thinking about this a lot too. Like, the business is so structured on public companies investing in art, and obviously these things are businesses, but there needs to be an aspiration for more than that. There needs to be an aspiration to really come out with something that is going to have a profound impact on the industry in general. There needs to be a desire to put something into the world that's going to matter. It can't just be a cyclical, checkbox of, okay, we've got this product out in this cycle and our investors are going to make this return. It can't just be that. And especially in this delicate transitional new cycle, especially with all of the noise and all of the options that consumers have out there. If people want us to be playing these console games or huge PC games, these AAA budget things, they've got to matter. They've got to be more than just, X brand 2014,
but
X brand 2015.
We're always, blaming the industry for the shortcomings. But the other thing is, I can count on both hands, and I'd probably have to take off my shoes and count on my feet as well, the number of times we have asked people to go out and support something. Right. And then we still watch these games flounder and fade. Yeah. And people, like, if you guys aren't there, if not enough people go out and support The Last of Us, then you're sending a message.
It's going to be huge.
I know, but that's what I'm just using it as an example. You have to go out and you have to vote for these things with your wallet. You have to support these companies that are taking some artistic leaps of faith. Because unless we do that, we're not going to get more of these things. We're gonna keep getting the same short end of the stick, and it's got a little bit of poop on it.
I don't know. I feel like what's happening is that the tools that independent developers have to make games are becoming more powerful and more accessible. And with every smaller type game that they release, they are learning more to be prepared for their next release. I think there's going to be a middle point meeting, and I think that's what Sony is really trying to kind of usher in with the PlayStation 4. They're going to want to offer the horsepower of that console to these tiers of developers that are at different skill sets, so that the middle ground investment may not be from the traditional game publishers. It may come from people that have success. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Provinciano's next title is more robust and has a richer 3D engine, and he takes some more sort of technical risks with the game, and it doesn't sort of do all of the work by himself. And I think that story sort of filters around to other independent developers out there, so that it's less about Namco or Sega or Sony or whatever spending on these double A titles or single A type titles, and it's more in the hands of developers wanting to tell something and do something differently because they have the ability to self-publish and get that work out there now. So I think consumer demand will still be available for those things. They're going to come out at a smaller price point than $60. I think $60, if that's the price that these big AAAs are going to stay at, is going to mean quality. And it's going to have to mean quality, or it's going to die.
All right. Well, we'll see how things play out.
I don't know how, like, Deadpool got funded and made, and maybe High Moon didn't have the budget that they had, but honestly, when you look at the business decision around that, why would that game cost $60? Well,
I was surprised. I actually checked the price point this morning. $60 for this damn thing.
I mean, that's a lot of dough. I mean, that same $60 can pick you. You can pick up The Last of Us. That's a lot of dough.
Get about 12 Hustlers for that much.
12 Hustlers, yeah, totally.
6 packs of bologna.
Yeah.
So listen.
Yo.
I got a little story I want to tell you. I went to see The Man of Steel. I told you a little bit about this story before.
Yep.
And I bought the AVX pre-purchased. You can choose your own seats online and everything.
Yeah.
And I show up a little bit early because that's what I do. I like to get there early and get settled in, and I like to suss out the theater and see what kind of assholes are sitting near me.
Yeah.
See if there's any jerks. I need to know if they're there or not. So I went and I paid extra for these seats, and I sat down. And as soon as you sit down in the theater now, and this is bringing me to a new feature in season 2 of Vic's Basement. That is Scott's Rant.
And how is that different from any other thing?
Well, it has a name now.
Okay.
I guess in the past we didn't actually have a name for it.
Do we need like trumpet sounds or something? And the waka waka sound. Okay. Yeah. It's time for Scott's Rant, everybody.
So I sit down, and as soon as I sit down, I start seeing some, they have those puzzles like guess who this star is on screen. But between the puzzles,
yes,
they have little commercials here and there. Yeah. Some of them are subtle. Some of them are not very subtle. Some of them are entertaining. Some of them are shit that just set your eyeballs on fire.
Yeah.
So finally, the lights kind of go down. People are finding their seats. Everybody's getting ready. The
real commercials start.
And then the real fucking commercials start. It's a 1:10 start for Man of Steel. I went to see it at Silver City out at the Metroplex or whatever the place, Metropolis.
Yeah.
1:10 is when the movie's supposed to start. They didn't even show the first movie trailer, which is what you used to watch before you would see a movie. You'd see just like a series of 5 or 6 trailers.
When did the movie start? When did the trailer start?
The trailers started at 1:25.
Oh my God! You were looking at your watch the whole time on this stuff?
I sat through at least 45 minutes of commercials, and that was I don't want to say any of the people because fuck them. Yeah. One was for mascara.
Right.
One was for a tiny car that you can buy.
Right.
That was driven like a skateboard. One of them had an animal. There's always the one with animals and cell phones.
Yes.
Like the cute animals.
Yeah.
And you
can't blame the companies because they know what they're buying, but it is duplicitous.
I think, but I know that it's expensive to make movies.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit through 45 fucking minutes of commercials. You cannot hold people hostage and beat them about the neck and shoulders with advertising for pop soft drinks, for like all of this shit. I cannot believe. And it's getting worse all the time, and nobody is saying anything. We just sit there and we take it, and we pay more and more for movie tickets every time we go to the theater. Listen, I would pay $3 more not to have to be subjected to this bullshit. I never see I watch Netflix, so I don't usually have to sit through commercials. I don't watch network TV, even though I should to support our show. This is a bit hypocritical, but I don't understand why there needs to be, 1 or 2 commercials is fine. 3 or 4, okay, you're pushing it. But 20 minutes straight of commercial after commercial before we get to the fucking trailers.
I don't know if there's another form of entertainment that is that heinous with the amount of advertising that they throw at you, and you have no choice in the matter. There's no way to turn the channel, and that is precisely why they're doing it. I know we talk about this all the time. We luckily enough we see enough screenings for the reviews that we do that the movie just starts as soon as it goes dark, or maybe the studio
see 1 or 2 trailers.
Throws a trailer.
I'm okay with a trailer. I think trailers are fine.
Yeah, I mean that gets you excited to watch the next round.
You're happy to be at the movies.
Part of it, totally. That's the experience of it. But you're right, man. Especially if there's no excuse for the amount of advertising, but if the ads aren't any different than stuff that you would see on TV, then why the hell do we have to suffer through this? If there's no creative spark or tie into the theatrical experience, then why do we have to suffer through all of this stuff?
I think that the relationship is the bigger the movie, and this was opening weekend for Man of Steel, the more they're going to cram in before the fucking movie starts. Yes. And you know what? It put me in such a bad mood. That's not why I didn't enjoy the movie more.
Yeah.
But this happens every time. It happened. I went to see This Is the End, the Seth Rogen movie over the weekend, and the same thing, fucking thing, just commercial after commercial after commercial. It's just like, and I have this policy. I enjoy eating popcorn. Sometimes you join me when we eat popcorn. We eat popcorn at the movies. I can't start eating the popcorn until the movie starts. So that's the other thing. I'm sitting there for 20 minutes
popcorn's getting
with this
cold.
Beautiful bag of popcorn in front of me, just glistening in the little shimmering in the light, the darkness.
And you feel compelled to rush out of the theater and buy mascara as soon as the movie is over.
I'm fucking sick of it. I don't know what we can do about it. I don't. I wish I was one of those people that could walk into the theater when the opening credits were running, but I can't do that. I just am not built that way. I need my seat. I need to see where I'm going to be, and I need to pick it out. I need to get there early. But I don't want to sit through this bullshit. Can I pay $3 more to not have to sit through these fucking commercials? I'd pay $20 for a movie ticket.
I'll tell you what's happening. People are not going to the theaters like they used to. I mean, people are aware of this. They're aware of the high ticket prices. They're aware of noisy, belligerent other patrons.
Texters. How many people do we see texting?
Yeah, I mean, it's really an unfortunate thing. I mean, next week, why don't we talk about the airline industry and how much they make it suck for people to travel?
No, I'm not doing that. You know what? I don't mind going through airport security. I know it's awful and people get felt up and stuff like that, and I know it's difficult.
It's not even that. Well, look, we'll save that rant for another time.
Let's just stay with the movie thing. Okay. Going to the movies sucks, and you know what, movie industry, you need to find a way to make it awesome again, or else you're fucking yourselves by doing this to people.
I think people would pay more, man. I mean,
I would pay more.
Look at that Austin theater that you've been to. That Austin theater as well. I forget the name.
I've never been to Austin.
Oh, it's incredible. Where they have they have food in the theater, and they have they'll serve drinks and food and stuff, and they make it a real experience. If they see you with a phone during the movie, you're kicked out instantly, no matter what. You're out.
Is it the Paramount?
No, it's I forget the name of it. Harry Knowles from Ain't It Cool always has events there. I've been there for a couple of things, and I've just loved it. It's such a great theater, and I wish they would do that. But they charge a little bit more for the experience, but it's like a night out, man. It's a real deal, and I wish, Cineplex is the big movie company in Canada here, and I wish that they would just.
Is it Galaxy?
No, I can't remember what it's called.
I'm sorry, I'm going to stop shouting names.
But I wish they would just go for, a whole, escapism kind of vibe and let people pay more.
Yeah, like transport us to another place.
Totally.
Take us somewhere. Don't take this huge, gigantic entertainment, which is about seeing these projected images that are larger than life and shrinking it down to this, making it small and miserly. And here's soda pop, and let's watch this fucking commercial. Fuck you!
It's just one giant corporation after another giant corporation after another, and it just feels so like we're just being I don't know, it's like Big Brother is talking to us or something, It's like City 17 all over again.
Can't do this.
I know.
You cannot do this to people. You cannot do this. Stand up, people.
Yeah.
Stay home.
All right.
Stay home and do something else. Okay, listen, we got a little bit of listener mail. You want to go through it real quick?
Okay, sure, go for it.
Okay, here's the first thing. This is a tough one. This is from Nisa Janira. She says, you guys pay lip service to the inclusion of female reviewers.
Yep.
You see where this one's going.
Right.
But you report back from E3 and you present a wall of guys. It's not cool, especially in light of the discussions that you have taken place this past year, regarding the virulent hostility towards women in the gaming community, as well as you showed several clips of The Division, a trailer that I thought was quite deliberate in including a female player.
Right.
And you couldn't manage to get Megan's voice in the show. I don't know who Megan is. Who's Megan?
I'm not sure.
But you had time for Steve to make comments about sexy ladies and to do some slow motion goofy shit. She's Victor, I've been watching your show for years. I find that I'm not and have never been particularly out of the usual. If I'm a gamer, and I am, and watching your show, you can bet many, many other women are too. And we have a lot of women on the show.
We need more.
I know we need more, but guess what? This is the reality. I'm just going to say it. It's hard to find women to do this job. It's challenging. It's not easy.
Well,
to find women, I mean, there are more now than there have ever been before at any other point in history. But it's very challenging to find women who, one, want to do this job, and two, are good at doing this job.
Well, I mean, part of it is that we have a finite amount of slots available for the people that are in front of the camera, and we don't have a budget that we can just keep hiring and rehiring and trying out and testing people. So the way that we've hired people in our programming has been, I have seen self-starters and people that are doing it already, and I've seen that they are going to be a part of the team.
That's how Marissa got on the show.
Absolutely.
She was doing her own show. We would see her at Fan Expo. Yep. She was busy in her own world, and we would always think, hey, that girl's, she's good at what she does.
I mean, we just don't have the budget to like train people or handhold people. People need to be disciplined and self-starters and ready to do this. And Marissa's been amazing. She's been a fantastic part of our team, and so is Miri. And Brianna may end up on Reviews on the Run at some point in the future, but I would welcome the idea of bringing more female voices into all of our programming. I love it. I love women. I love women that are into this material.
Too. I love them.
And I completely agree with the idea of the subjugation of women in games, and we need to tell different stories. Women need to be making video games. I think that a lot of changes have to happen. And we're getting to it.
What's that sound? I think the plumbing is... I think your mother just flushed the toilet.
I think the man club is coming to get me right now. You need to talk about more bro games, dude.
Dude, we need more bros on the show.
We need more bros.
Dude, girls don't know about games.
No, but it's fantastic feedback. We didn't have Marissa on the show. I guess she would have been the most logical thing, purely based on budgetary reasons.
But she was also in her own trajectory. She wasn't looking at games at the show either.
Yeah, she
wasn't really.
She was doing stuff.
She had her own thing
in our partnership with Best Buy when we were down there.
Yeah.
But we're still growing, we're still learning, and we're totally open to this thing evolving and changing and putting female faces and female voices into all of this stuff.
Recommend people. Tell us who you'd like to see on the show. We're always open to that.
Open to that idea for sure. If there are female reviewers out there that you are incredibly impressed by, let me know.
If you're a reviewer.
That is part of the criteria, though, is that I'm not going to be hiring people that aren't already doing this somewhere, right. That aren't already getting their feet wet, either covering the business or have some kind of voice in media on their own, because that's the way our team operates. Everybody at Greedy Productions, everybody on all of our shows is multidisciplined, multi-talented, respectful of each other's contributions to all of this stuff. And there's no time or room for prima donnas or people that have star-like attitudes around this stuff. I'm not just hiring people to be in front of the camera. They have to be doing this already and want to be a part of this team. So if you've got ideas and suggestions that way, by all means, let me know. But then also be aware that we have a pretty incredible team of people right now, male and female, and we don't have slots that go on forever. We just don't have openings and job positions that I can just keep playing musical chairs with. But great comment, great feedback.
But we're moving and we're changing and we're evolving as a medium as well. If you look at the press conferences from Sony and from Microsoft, there are women on stage, but they don't dominate. Yeah. And that might change. I hope it does change. I hope that one day we go to a press conference at E3 and it's 90% women on stage and 10% dudes. But right now we still have that ratio. 1 out of every 10 people who takes the stage at a press conference is a woman. That's just the way it is right now. It's changing. Yeah. Before there used to be 0. There's huge amounts of progress. Yeah. There's you go to E3 and
I'll tell you what I have no respect for, and I don't want to turn this into a rant, but I really can't stand when it's sexy time girl on talking about video games.
I think that era is kind of over. Well, with the batting of the eyelashes,
send out ridiculous casting call lists. It would be great if she also plays games, kind of thing. And I like game girl type thing. It just drives me crazy. Like the idea of hiring a porn star to read tech news or gaming news, which I know some people have done before. That just makes me.
Makes your blood boil. Look how angry you're getting.
It just is so
You're going to start turning over furniture.
The people that watch our content and that consume this entertainment and are awesome enough to support our podcast and stuff like that, you're all way smarter than we are, and you're really, really tuned in to everything that's going on there. And the last thing I've ever wanted to do in my whole career is insult you or embarrass you or put people in front of the camera that don't deserve to be. We've worked really hard to be respectful, and we've got a long way to go. We're still on that road.
There's also a lowest common denominator. There's something so disparaging and derogatory to say, well, people will watch our gaming content if we have a porn star talking about it. We've come so far from the days when you could get a job in this industry. Maybe 10 years ago you could. By licking a PSP or something. That era is over now. Now we need We need people who are smart and articulate and confident, and people who are adults, not kids with boob jobs and whatever, things that they used to be able to get away with in this medium. You can't get away with anymore.
Well, and also, frankly, if you're going to be a commenter,
we spot phonies too. People can see right through this shit.
Totally. And if you're going to be commenting or talking or interviewing or reviewing this material, you got to want to be here. You got to want to be a lifer, because this is not really about fame. It's not really about wealth. It's not really about like, you really got to want to do it. And I feel like people just look at this stuff sometimes as like a great gig, and there are so few great gigs in this space that if you're gonna find one, you got to really want it, and you got to really work hard to do it. And look, I keep my eyes open. I've been in this business a long time and going to a lot of events and seeing a lot of journalists, and it's interesting to see the group of people that have been doing this for as long as I have. And I want there to be a big chunk of people that stick with this thing and don't disappear. And not that there's anything wrong with having to make career choices and choices for your family and tough decisions about leaving it. And I understand jobs disappearing and all that stuff. But I will say this to any women that are listening or that want that career out there. It is absolutely in your power to start putting stuff on YouTube, putting yourself in front of the camera, becoming incredibly comfortable with the way that you communicate around this stuff, and to show people what you can do and what you would mean integrating into their work or starting your own. It's absolutely available to anybody out there. And I encourage anybody that's listening to this stuff, if they want that kind of a position, or they think that they're better suited to review this material or better suited to be covering this content, do it. There's nothing to hold you back. The barrier to entry when I started was very, very expensive. It was really tough, and the amount of
camera
channels
was like $1 million.
Yeah, and the channels to be able to reach people were minuscule. But now that doesn't exist. If you are good, you've got to keep getting better, but you've also got to keep letting people know, and people will eventually find you.
So I'm going to do my imitation of a woman who could do TV 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, welcome back to Gaming with Cindy. Today we're going to talk about Tetris. Yeah. And let's
listen. It's so tough to talk about this stuff because people. Some of these folks found an audience for that, and some people had some success with this stuff.
Yeah.
It just wasn't for me. I just never wanted to make that stuff. And like when I hired Jade Raymond, Jade was really concerned about that. And Jade's a very good-looking person. We all know that. And but it wasn't. I can cast good-looking people, no problem. Finding good-looking people.
Look at me, man.
Very easy to do.
Look at Ben Silverman.
I wanted to hire Jade and Julie and Zoe and Kelly and Nazanin, like the people that have been a part of the programming that we've created. They've got a lot more going on than just their beauty. They bring a lot of passion and intelligence, and I'm just proud of them as people. Even Evangeline Lilly. She was amazing on our shows. So much better than the tongue-in-cheek role that we had, and it was really tongue-in-cheek. We wanted to have an attractive female kind of showing off the hardware that we were talking about, and it was so overtly. I was making fun of the silliness that existed.
Well, we used to have the hardware girl,
yeah,
which got replaced with once in a while with the hardware guy.
Yes,
but we would always turn a fan on. This was all you. This was it predated me. You guys would always turn a fan on and have her blowing her hair, and it was meant to be as kind of a satire.
It was a poke in the eye at this whole stupidity, and I felt so embarrassed talking to Evangeline when she came in to audition for that, because she was so smart and savvy and ready for prime time. And I was actually in the process of auditioning her to be one of our on-camera hosts when I found out that she had gone union, which we're a non-union shop, and I thought she had gotten some cool commercial, and then I'm on a flight back from New York, and I open a Newsweek magazine, and there's a full-page ad with Evangeline Lilly as one of the stars of this new TV show called Lost, which
that show will never take off.
Yeah, but you know, all of these people that we've hired, they're not just pretty faces. You know, not even Scott Jones. They're not, you know, everybody.
Well, sometimes I'm quiet and I just stand there and I just let the camera take it in.
We do need to have more fans in the studio, like blowing when we're shooting reviews.
Doing what? Fans?
Shows.
Like, fan?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like fan people.
We do need more fans.
Blowing on us?
How do we get those?
Fans blowing on us.
Maybe we need to be game guys.
You're making it creepy at the end here. Listen, we've got a couple of movie screenings lined up. We've already seen The Lone Ranger. We can't talk about it. Our review is going to air soon on the show, and Reviews on the Road on EP Daily. And we also we're going to see Despicable Me 2 tonight. We enjoyed the first one. And coming up soon, Grown Ups 2. Victor
Shut
Lucas.
up!
Yep, we're strapping you in.
No way!
We're going to Clockwork Orange your eyes open.
I think Miri and Ben need to experience the Adam Sandler sequel.
We'll see. So listen, we got a lot of fun things planned for season 2 of Vic's Basement.
Please keep your awesome questions coming.
Yes.
And please subscribe to the podcast.
Please.
We're starting to kind of track those numbers. We actually hit as one of iTunes' favorite things that's made in Canada. We were on the front page of iTunes in Canada.
This started out as a total lark. We just did it one day, and now we're 51 episodes into what will be hopefully a long-standing enterprise.
Yeah, we love doing this, and we want to grow it. We've got some ideas, but we need more support. We need more subscribers, and we need you to tell people to sign up and comment like crazy. Let us know what you like. Let us know what you don't like. Let us know what you'd like to hear more of or see more of. But we really appreciate you being here.
I have to ask if I can borrow your mom for the weekend to help me move.
What?
To help me move.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's got strong arms.
She's, as they say, strong on plow.
Yeah. She will take care of things for you. We come from the mother country.
Mom!
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Hey, where can they get us on the Android?
We're on the Stitcher.
We're on the Stitcher.
Is that Android only?
I don't know. But we're on Stitcher, and we're on iTunes. We're on Vic'sBasement.com.
And listen, if you're at a movie screening, at a movie and they're showing a lot of commercials, feel free to boo.
No, actually, you should just
clap. Openly boo.
Clap loudly. Just be obnoxious.
Woo! Clap.
I love that commercial. Woo!
So clap and woo at the same time. Apparently, that's Victor's solution.
Really anger everybody.
Thanks for listening, folks.
You all rock. Thank you.